He is marking his 10th anniversary as a professional mixed martial artist, yet he's only 29 years old. Sammy J. Stout, you feel old?
I am starting to feel old. Everyone keeps bringing it up. Everyone keeps talking about it. You know, it has been a long time for me in this sport. I'm not even 30 yet, and I don't really feel old, but everyone keeps telling me I am.
You've been through the ringer a whole bunch of times with this company. Obviously, you've been around for a very long time. A change in opponent from Isaac Valley Flag to James Krause. How did you deal with that change?
You know, I just kind of, there's not a lot you can do when these kind of things pop up. You can't get frustrated about them. You just go into the gym, go back to the drawing board, change the game plan, and start working on it. And you know, there's a lot of things in my original game plan that I kind of could translate over to the new game plan for James, and you know, I feel I'm ready for it. And the other thing is, you know, I only had 2.5 weeks to prepare for him specifically, but he only had 2.5 weeks to prepare for me. So, you know, in that sense, we're on an even playing field.
I mean, you and I have talked about this numerous times, as well as many other fighters on the UFC roster. Sometimes cards get changed, sometimes they get ravaged, but there's so many people talking about this Winnipeg card sucks. I obviously vehemently disagree because it's disrespectful to guys like you and Pearson and all the other guys on the card. Do you feel any added pressure to perform now?
You know, I always put a lot of pressure on myself to put on exciting fights. You know, I've always understood that this sport is what it is because of the fans. So you got to go out, and we're here to entertain them, as well as you know, win the fight. And you know, I don't. Anyone who says that this fight card sucks, you know, I don't know what they're talking about, because there's some great fights on this card. You know, right down to the undercard, Jake Shields and Woodley. That's an amazing fight. That's you know, that could be a main event if you ask me. You know, then there's anytime Dan Henderson's on a card, how do you call that? You know, how do you criticize the card? Dan Henderson and Rashad Evans, especially, that's amazing. So you know, I'm going to go out there. I'm always going to put pressure on myself to put on an exciting fight, but I think the fans aren't going to be disappointed at all in this fight.
You competed in Canada on numerous occasions, but I have to ask you, now that you've had all this experience, is it more difficult to fight in Canada, or is it more motivating? Is it more exciting? Would you rather fight in Vegas or in Japan?
You know what? Sometimes being really close to home, fighting in Montreal, fighting in, you know, I haven't fought in Toronto yet, but I can imagine, you know, being there's so many people that you're trying to take care of, friends and family to get tickets for, and coordinate, you know, after weigh-in dinners and do all that stuff. But you know, Winnipeg is kind of the best of both worlds for me, because I've got a small group of family and friends coming, easy to take care of, easy to make plans with, and I still get all the fan support from the Canadian fans. You know, anywhere I go in Canada, I've really had a lot of fan support, and Winnipeg's no different. Everyone here has been really cool since I got here, and you know, I fought here earlier in my pro kickboxing career, actually, and you know, I've been out here cornering some of my training partners in smaller events in Manitoba, and you know, the fans here are always really great, so I'm looking forward to fighting in front of them.
I personally doubt there is a small contingent of Sam Stout fans, because everywhere you go, there are many that follow you around. But let me ask you one last question. What is the perfect fight on Saturday night? Because you're on the Sportsnet prelims. What is your perfect fight? You know,
perfect fight for me would be a finish. I'd like to, you know, get a knockout. Always love the knockouts, but you never know. I'd also like a submission. I haven't got a submission in the UFC, and I'd love to have that feather in my cap.
Well, I bug Roy Nelson about a flying armbar. What about a Sammy Stout flying armbar?
Hey, you never know. You never know.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
There you go, Sammy J. Stout taking on James Krause on the prelims this Saturday on Sportsnet.